Well, that didn't take long. Less than a week old, and I already have some Bronco parts being delivered by courier. I'm sure most of my viewers can relate. I don't know how many of you are on a first name basis with your UPS driver, but my guy is always curious to see parts going on my Bronco every time he comes around. Today I received a sizable box from the guys over at Hammerbuilt. When I commented on a Facebook post about how a set of form headlights would look great on my Heritage Bronco, well, they reached out to the channel. If you've been living under a rock and haven't seen the Form Lighting Bronco headlights yet, you're in for a treat. These things are super trick, with a quad set of LED projectors in each headlight, 2 high and 2 low, and coming in an almost complete blacked out housing. As good as they look out of the box, watch till the end to see how great they look on the Bronco and see the startup sequence and the live animated turn signals. The kit includes a pair of pigtail harnesses which allow you to switch from amber DLR to white DLR, and a fuse box powered tap harness to allow the halo daytime running light function on non-factory signature headlight Broncos. Installation is fairly straightforward, but like almost all modern vehicles, way too much work is unfortunately required for just a simple procedure such as removing a headlight. Some basic hand tools are required, obviously: an 8mm and 10mm socket, a ratchet with a small extension, and a push pin body clip pry tool. Prop up the hood of your Bronco, and the first thing we need to do is pop off the push pins that attach the rad trim cover in place. Some finagling is needed to get it to clear the filter intake plastic. After the trim cover is removed, we can now have access to the handful of 10mm fasteners that hold the grille in place. Keep your hardware together so nothing gets lost. All that remains is to pull the grille off to break it free from all the body clips holding it in place. This part sounds a little cringe-inducing. Some quick tugs at the panel is the best way to get it to remove, despite how it sounds. If you have a high or lux pack equipped Bronco, you'll also need to disconnect the forward-facing camera and washer nozzle hose before taking the grille off. Next, the lower painted trim piece below the grille must also be removed. To help get a better hold on the corners, it's advisable to partially release the fender flares from the body. This is accomplished, of course, by turning the retention levers a quarter turn and again, yanking on the flares to free it from the cringe-worthy body clips. The lower trim panel is also held in place with just body clips, but the corners need to be pulled out towards the outside to free them from the truck. After the corners are free, the trim piece can then be pulled straight off. There are two 10mm bolts on the top of the headlight, as well as a barred push pin. Note that one bolt is a machine screw and the other is a self-tapping thread. The lower front bolt, for whatever reason that defies all logic, is an 8mm socket head, but the same bolt diameter as the 12mm ones. There are a couple of bayonet fittings on the back side of the stock headlight housings that help keep it in place without the fasteners. Wiggling it out towards the front will eventually free the housing and give you access to the electrical plug around back. Before offering up the new Form Headlight LED projector headlights, connect the included pigtail to the factory headlight plug. This will give you a little more length to eventually connect the harness to the housing. Line up the new headlight to the Bronco, paying attention to the 4 fastening locations. These headlights don't use the same bayonet holders that the factory lights do, so they rely on the fasteners for actual location. Pass up the amber/white DRL plugged wires for easy access if you wish to change the DRL colors anytime in the future. I install the barred push pin first to keep the headlight housing in place while I reinstall the mounting bolts. Don't mix up the two top bolts, remember, one is self-tapping and the other is a machine screw. The installation process is identical on the passenger side. Before you get too far with the installation, hit the unlock button on your key fob after both headlights are connected to the vehicle's harness to test the function. I set the final position of the light by carefully aligning the side marker light to the fender panel. Again, I check the high and low beam function before continuing with reinstalling the body panels and grille. Make sure the panel clips are lined up with the slots before forcing them together to prevent damage or cracking. The grille basically goes on the same way. Start by making sure you have the panel clips lined up and then give the grille a light tap to seat the clips. There are a row of clips along the bottom edge that attach the grille to the rad surround. Go ahead and have a look around the edges of the grille and check the panel gaps, ensure proper fitment. Once you're satisfied with the grille placement, go ahead and reinstall the top mounting bolts followed by the rad trim cover, making sure to slide the passenger side section under the air intake runner. Then it's basically just a matter of installing the push pins and closing it all up. Before my new form headlights arrived, I took a drive around the corner with the factory lights to get a sense of the light output and beam pattern. For a reflector LED headlight, these aren't terrible. Nice straight cutoff line, pure white color temperature, and a fairly wide beam pattern, but notice the glare showing up above the cutoff on both housings. My first drive at night with the new form headlight projector headlights, I headed over to the local car wash bay to make a minor beam alignment. The first thing that stands out to me is that sexy blue-violet light refraction at the cutoff line. Very nice. With a quick adjustment to the passenger headlight using a number 2 Phillips screwdriver, perfect beam alignment. And speaking of cutoff line, this one is like razor sharp. Like all projector headlights, these use a stepped up pattern to the right. This gives you a little more lighting coverage down the shoulder of the road and helps illuminate roadsides while at the same time not having your median side lighting blast oncoming traffic. Obviously, for right-hand drive vehicles, the beam step is reversed for the same reasons. It's a little hard to convey nighttime video footage when comparing headlight output, or color temperature for that matter. Most cameras struggle with exposure, usually overexposing because of the nighttime ambient light. And for color temperature, with no other lighting reference, the camera will just assume the light is pure white. From a seat of the pants comparison, both these form headlights and the factory LED reflectors offer identical color temperature, ideally suited for human eyesight. When I compare the light output and the beam pattern, there is no question these form projectors blow away the stock Bronco headlights. Wider, more intense beam, sharper cutoff, and greater reach down the road, and this is without the high beams. With that said, years and years ago, it used to be a thing to retrofit OEM Xeon HID projectors off of eBay into halogen reflector housings of your car as a creative lighting upgrade. In those days, modifying the cutoff shield, replacing the lenses, and polishing the reflector bowls were all common hot rodding tricks to get better light output. And if that is your goal, then these headlights have some of the best output performance I've seen of any projector. The fact that they utilize the same beautiful factory Bronco ring DLRs and actually take it one step further with the cool animations and DRL color change option, these form headlights improve upon the factory headlights in every regard. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to the channel because I have a lot more content coming your way now that I have a new Bronco finally in the driveway. As always, take care and we'll see you on the next episode.